Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Live to Lead with MAPS coaches Dennis Russell and Vasha Chevalier. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's FASTTRACK@kw.com. That's all for me, coaches. Take it away.
Hey, Carlos, thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are now going to talk about and give you information on the LEAD program, Learn the Pathway to KW Leadership. And specifically, our topic for today, Live to Lead. Now, the reason why we're talking about that is because that means really how leadership shows up and changes all aspects of our lives. We know that leadership is influence. So whenever we're dealing with people, we know that influence is a major factor in our relationships. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the changes that occur because of leadership and how understanding these changes will put you on the path of becoming a successful leader in Keller Williams and in life. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dennis Russell. I'm MAPS coach. I'm a MAPS Bold coach, a MAPS one-on-one coach. I'm a former team leader. I had over 900% growth in owner profit and profit share during my tenure as a team leader. I'm actually a former captain in the United States Army. I'm also a MAPS coach, which I already said that. And I'm a KWU approved trainer. And I am joined today by my co-coach, the phenomenal, the outstanding, the super talented MAPS coach, Vasha Chevalier. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Vasha.
Thank you so much for that fantastic introduction, Dennis. So yes, my name is Vasha Chevalier, and I too am a MAPS agent coach, a MAPS Bold coach, group coach, KWU trainer. I'm a rainmaker for a top producing team in Houston and an expansion team owner for New Orleans, Louisiana. And we are honored to bring this program, The Lead, to you today.
Wow, we very much are. That is so true. As I said, we're going to take a few minutes now and discuss what successful leaders look like. Because if your goal and desire is to be in leadership, you have to realize that it's a much bigger deal and it's a much bigger thing than just the title. And you're going to be affecting yourself as well as affecting other people in the Keller Williams ecosystem. So let's kind of jump into it and talk about, what do successful leaders look like? What do they do? Now, the first thing we know is that leaders have rich lives and are able to make other people's lives better. The first way they do that is true leaders have to be devoted to others. Hey, Vasha, why don't you talk a little bit about how true leaders are devoted to others?
Yes, so absolutely. So when you are a leader, it's not about you, it's about the team. It's about the people that you're truly leading. So you have to be devoted to helping them grow, helping them achieve their goals, and anything they desire to do in life. You grow once you help other people's grow. So being devoted to others first is how you get rewarded later.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As a leader, you have to realize that you're going to have your success through other people. So you've got to be devoted to them. You've got to be committed to them to make sure that they're successful so you're successful. So Vasha, I love that answer. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, they want to have a positive impact on their communities, organizations, and societies. So Dennis, how does that affect leaders?
Well, you know what's great about this particular one? It flows so much in line with what Keller Williams does. You know, we have Red Day, which is where we impact the community directly. And leading that organization and realizing that, you know, we're going to be in the community, we're going to be giving back to the community, and that's something that leaders do. It also has to do with the same thing with organizations and societies, that it's not just about your little teeny space. It's about, as you lead people, you're going to start to affect. It's like a wave, you know, or a ripple effect in a pond. When you throw a rock in a pond and the ripple starts real small, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what true leadership does. It affects your communities, your organizations, and your society.
Yeah. And then, you know, leaders have empathy and connect with people. So when we talk about empathy, that's a huge and a super important word. So many people are going through things right now, and especially with the pandemic and not being in the market centers as we used to be all the time, we're doing business a completely different way. So being able to rebuild that connection and that tighter bond with their people and having empathy with the things that they're going through and always being of service, understanding that, hey, they're going to have some breakdowns and we have to be there to lift them up so that they can have a breakthrough. So, Dennis, let's go into the second point, which is leaders simplify the complex.
Hey, well,
There,
before you go there, I'd like to talk on that empathy thing because Vasha, I mean, you just said it so well. As a leader, you are going to face situations where, the people on your team, the people that you're leading are going to have situations that come up that are going to affect what they're going to do. And if you don't have that empathy and you don't have that connection, when these challenges come up in their lives that are now going to be a stumbling block, do they have, that connection with you? Do they feel that you care about them enough to come to you and let you know what's going on in their lives? I mean, the pandemic, before we leave, the pandemic was a classic example. Vasha kind of mentioned it. Here we are. We had people that, had people who were sick in their families. Some had people who they lost as a result of this. Our whole lives completely changed in terms of how we could do business. And what we had to do was we had to show them that we cared. And what we did, one of the great things that Keller Williams did, and it started at the top, this is a leadership conversation. What we did that made 2020 so powerful and so successful in our production in Keller Williams is we had care calls. There it is, right in the title. Empathy for our clients, empathy for our agents. And by showing that we had that true connection, and when people felt that we cared, it allowed them to open up. It allowed them to trust us, to be able to sell their house or be able to continue to do business. There's a saying, people don't care how much you know until what? They know how much you care. So that's all about that empathy piece and connecting with other people. All right, Vasha, go ahead. I just felt it. I was just moved so much by what you said. It just kind of overflowed out of me.
no, I love that, Dennis, and you are absolutely correct. So the second one is leaders simplify the complex. They are gifted at explaining the why something needs to be done. I don't know about you, Dennis. Think back when you were a child. Your parents told you to go do something and you didn't understand why and you just did it, yet you still were just confused as before they asked you to do it. So now as adults and as leaders, we have to make sure that we bring extreme clarity to our people when we're asking them to do something so that they fully understand the why behind it and how it's going to impact them positively. So, Dennis, what are your thoughts on that?
Vishay, when you said the thing about being a child, I remember specifically incidences where my parents would say, well, we'll go over here and do something and say, well, why? And they say, because I said so. Now, as a parent, they had the authority to say, because I said so, and you as the kid had to do it. However, as adults, that doesn't work anymore. So exactly what you said was so critical and so true. And that is, as adults, we've got to understand. And let's go back to the same thing, making those care calls. The leaders that explained it the best, and that's why, listen, it started at the top. Gary Keller was saying, hey, look, here's what we got to do. And it filtered all the way down. I remember James Shaw was given a shift class and he was talking about care calls and he was explaining it so succinctly, saying, and he broke it down even further. When you're given a care call, he said it's the 3 C's. It's care, compassion, and then common sense. And just that explanation, it was just so simple, and it let us all see the why. Why do you do this? Because in that particular moment, it was important for people to understand why they were making those calls and the results they would have. And then they had those results. That's why 2020 was such a fantastic year, because people were very, and like I said, Gary is great at this, so it flows down from the top. taking the time to make sure you understand why, and taking it from a complex problem or a complex situation and making it simple. The care call is 3 C's: care, compassion, common sense. Explains why and makes it simple. Love that, Vasha.
Yes. So then you want to take the next one? They provide a common sense of value through passion and inspiration.
Oh yeah, great. When you're as a leader, and once again, we're talking about this because, sometimes people get all caught up in the titles of being a leader and not realizing the impact they're going to have on people. And we want you to see that it's so deep, and it's so rewarding to be able to help people to accomplish, the things they need to accomplish, and have your organization accomplish those things. And this all comes from, providing that value. What value are you going to get out of this? And not only what value are you going to get out of it, however, can they feel the passion? Can you as a leader inspire them? Have them do something that maybe they weren't quite comfortable doing, except because of the way you explained it, because you made it simple and you showed the benefit to them, they were able to go just that little bit further. Vasha, I'm going to put you on the spot here because I know you've had a couple of coaching clients that, you've talked to, and, you inspired them to do some things that maybe before they talked to you, they weren't really comfortable. They didn't really have that confidence that they could do it. And I'd love to hear an example, because I know you can think of one, because we talk about them all the time. You're just crushing, out there, motivating these people, inspiring these people. So do you have one for us?
Well, I'm not going to necessarily say specifics, yet I will just share this though. Sometimes we always say in coaching, Dennis, hey, when I'm passionate about something, I'm very direct, right? And it's not to hurt your feelings, it's because I'm that passionate about it. And it might not necessarily be what you want to hear, yet it's what you need to hear to help motivate you, right? To get going. If you're not passionate about something, you're not going to play all in. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, you're definitely right.
And then they're inspiring. I don't know about you. Think back to being on that family reunion stage. You at family reunion, you see all the people on stage, and they're so passionate about what they do, and they're inspiring, and you're like sucked in, and you're like, oh my God, you're so close. You feel like I'm right here. They're talking to me directly, right? So they're hitting a nerve that says, you know what, I'm ready to just leave. I'm ready to go take action. So that's the passion and inspiration that a leader has to have behind them, so that they'll motivate you to be as passionate and inspired to do what you need to do.
Wow. So, hey, Vasha, let's take the next one. They mobilize people to follow the vision. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, hey, our fearless leader, Gary Keller, right there. He sets a vision out for our company, and we're following their vision. They're visionaries. They can see the future. They can see things. And that's what leaders do. They have a vision, and they can see the broader picture. Sometimes people can only see what's in front of them right here. They can't see the bigger picture. Yet leaders have a vision that's so broad. And when you trust the leadership, right, to guide you in the right direction, then everything gets better. So they mobilize people to follow that vision so that you can achieve all the things that you desire to achieve.
Wow, yeah, you're exactly right. The great thing, and I love what you said, because leaders are kind of looking at two things. They're looking at the big picture, like you said, and yet they're able to simplify it so that you're focused on the thing right here, which is going to be impacting the bigger vision at the same time. So you've got to kind of have that dual vision. I'm looking at the big picture, and also I'm focusing on the small picture. So, yep, love it. Yep, exactly right. And we also know that leaders hold themselves accountable. And we know accountability is a big deal. And one of the first things you got to do when you're holding yourself accountable is you got to be able to tell the truth and inspire confidence. So, Vasha, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Wow, that was a mouthful right there. Tell the truth. It's not about, being the yes person, right? I always say that I'm not the yes person. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. I have to be truthful with you because we all have blind spots. We all have gaps. And the only way to fill those blind spots and those gaps is for someone who can see things that you may not necessarily see in your world. So, and for them to give you the cold, hard truth, right? Think about the time maybe, on an appointment, right? And that seller said, I'm gonna list with you. I'm gonna list my house with you. And then you get there and it's a completely different story. They changed, why they're not ready to list. And then all of a sudden you find out they listed and just listed with somebody else, right? And then you have to go back and look at, well, they said this, and it was a blind spot there that obviously I missed something. And then I go back and I say, hey, well, what could I have done differently? And then if they tell me what that is, I have to be willing to receive that. I need honesty. I need openness. I need candidness. And I need the person that's telling me the truth to be inspiring, and they have to be confident with it, right? You can't just tell me to do something and then you're not as confident with telling me. You're like, oh, I don't know. And right. So look, Vasha, this is what I need you to do. It might not be what you want to hear. Yeah, this is what you need to hear. This is going to make you better for it. So go out and do this, and this is why you need to do it.
Wow. Yeah, the great thing about when you're holding yourself accountable, you can't be accountable if you're not in truth. Because how can you possibly hold yourself to something if it's not true? So we've got to take the time to always be truthful with what's going on. And as a leader, because we're holding ourselves accountable, then we start doing what? Holding other people accountable. And the first thing they have to go on is our word. That's all they got at first. That's it. So if the first impression, which we know is what? The lasting impression, is that you don't tell the truth, how can your people have any confidence in you?
Yeah.
As a leader, you're asking people to do some things, as we discussed earlier, that are going to be a little bit uncomfortable, because you got to get them to do, this for the bigger good, for the greater good. And they've got to trust that you've got their back. Like we said at the very beginning, they got to know that you connect with them. They've got to know that you care about them. And then they got to know you're going to tell them the truth, which means sometimes there are times when you might have to, take a step back to take 5 steps forward. There's a time when you might have to do something once again that doesn't feel good right now. However, as you get good at it, as it starts to roll, as it starts to flow, you'll start to see the results. And they got to have that trust and confidence in you. And that only comes by telling the truth. What's next?
Preserve trust and integrity. So, hey, that's always knowing that somebody is watching even when you don't think that they are. So integrity is doing the right thing all the time. And that's how you keep people trusting you. If you're saying one thing and then doing something different, it's going to come out eventually, right? So preserve that trust and integrity. And then, Dennis, we're going to go right into leaders empowering others. They have to be teachers. So, hey, enlighten us on that.
Well, we've been talking about, when you're leading, you're guiding people, you're directing people, you're encouraging people. So at the same time, you're also going to be teaching them new things. You're going to be teaching them things about you. You're going to be teaching them about themselves. You're going to be teaching them about the relationship. And also, because you're in the process of accomplishing some bigger goal, some bigger vision, you're going to be teaching them about that. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Hey, you hit the nail on the head. They have to always educate people, help them grow. And then, Dennis, they have to create experiences that can only be accomplished through the team, not individually.
Oh, yeah.
So, what are your thoughts around that?
Well, if we're going to talk about a team, think about a football team. The offensive linemen are blockers. They very rarely get to score the touchdowns, except if they don't block, the people don't get to score the touchdowns. So everybody's got a role as a team. And as a team, if you do your role, the team will succeed. You got anything you want to add to that?
Hey, that goes back to there's no I in team, right? The leader can't look out for themselves. They have to look out for the entire team. So
Exactly.
then we're going to what? Avoid using yesterday's solutions to solve today's problems. So we have to really spend a minute on this one, Dennis.
All
Avoid
right.
using yesterday's solution to solve today's problem. So go for it.
Oh, I thought I could feel you. I thought you were going to take it. I thought I was going to come in
Take
and
it.
do the
Hey,
relief.
I love this one. I love this one.
I know.
I'm
I
just
could feel. I
because
could
I
see
get
it.
a
I was like, oh, Shay's going
long-winded
to take
over
this.
here. Right? So what worked yesterday might not necessarily work today, right? Let's take the problem that we have today and come up with the best solution for that. Just think about the market, the real estate industry. So many people are, well, hey, back then I bought a house and this is what happened during that process, right? And oh, I was able to get this closing cost and I was able to do this and I was able to do that. Well, guess what? That was yesterday's problem, yesterday's solution. Today we have a different problem. Let's figure out a solution that works best for today. So let's live in this moment. We can use some of the experiences from the past that may have helped us get good results and bring those into the present. Yet we have to focus on new innovative solutions to solve today's problems, not always.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to say this. And Gary Keller has been very focused on diversity and inclusion. That's where this comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more people you add in the tent, the more different ideas you have. So you'll have solutions to solve today's problems because you'll have more people of different backgrounds, different experiences who can give you different solutions. So that way you're avoiding yesterday's solutions to today's problems.
That's right.
Now,
So
go ahead. Hey, Vasha, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, hey, so just really, really be solution based is the key, right? Always leaders are solution based. They're not just tied into just the problem. They're quick to work out a solution.
Yep, that's so true. So true. Now, we talked a lot about leadership, kind of what you're going to be doing as a leadership, what kind of things you need to have in place and how you're going to impact yourself, how you're going to impact the community, how you're going to impact, the people that you're leading. So let's talk about a few of the benefits that you're actually going to get from this course, which begins on April 15th. And what's important to people, not only that you take it, also if based on what we heard, what we just talked about, if you know people that already fit some of those qualifications, you might suggest that they take this course. Number one, we're going to discover what leadership truly is, finding and understanding their passion. You've got to have that big why. The next thing, you've got to learn and understand the language and terms commonly used in Keller Williams leadership positions. Because Keller Williams, we have our own language, we have our own lingo, so you have to understand what all that stuff is. So we're going to go through that in detail. Vasha, what are the next couple?
We're going to learn powerful co-broker conversations and objection handlers with R1 and R2 recruits. We're going to also have internal engagement conversations to keep your agents engaged and plugged into your office activities for greater attention. And then here's my favorite. You're going to learn the importance of passive income. We all should have passive income, right, Dennis?
Of course, of course. It's a gift. We need to take advantage of the gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
And next, we're going to learn practical applications to lead an inclusive market center. And we just talked about the benefit of that. Having different people with different backgrounds will give you different solutions, which will allow you to explode, not only survive in this market, however, to also thrive because you're coming up with ideas that other people haven't thought of. The ALC members, as a result of this, are going to be re-engaged. They're going to fall deeper in love with what an honor it is to hold that position. And the graduates, they're going to feel re-engaged and ready to go out and lead agents in the market center by teaching and continuing to fill that gap in the absence of leadership when leadership is absent.
Yeah, and then we're going to review the KW value pillars, helping leaders to have more powerful external conversations while reminding them of why they choose to be in business with KW. And then ultimately, this increases growth, retention, and productivity. And they're going to have a clear vision if leadership is the right path for them and a roadmap for their leadership journey.
They're going to gain the knowledge and confidence to assist in hosting and assisting with powerful career nights. I mean, hey, we're always talking about leverage. So we're going to provide the leadership in the office with leverage for people that can help them in whatever they want to, however they need to have those more effective career nights. And also, they're going to learn about a needs analysis by doing one on themselves personally. They're also going to build confidence, knowing that as a future leader, you're going to have the confidence, the skills, the knowledge, and the culture needed to fill the gap. And Vasha, why don't you take us home?
Yeah, we're going to earn the opportunity to spotlight to KWRI regions and market centers in searching for talent. So, hey, if you're looking for that, we're going to spotlight you. So we're going to really, really be intentional with making sure that you are equipped with the tools to be successful when you go on to your leadership journey. So, hey guys, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. You learned the following. Number one, leaders have rich lives and are able to make other people's lives better. Leaders simplify the complex, they hold themselves accountable, and leaders empower others. So we talked about some of the incredible benefits of this course, and as an individual, we're going to learn powerful conversations to increase your income through profit share, have built the foundation for your success as a present or future KW leader. And then Dennis, I'm going to let you knock this one out as a market center leader.
Oh, I love this. As a market center leader, if you're watching this, what's your plan of action? What is our call to action right now? Encourage, sign up, pay for your ALC to re-engage at that higher level, to strengthen your retention and your recruiting, which will result in more production and more profit for your market center. As we said earlier, graduates, they're going to feel re-engaged to lead agents in your market center through training, through teaching, and bringing you more recruits. You're going to develop a market center full of leaders. This is true leverage. Leaders building up more leaders. So, everybody, go to the link right now that Carlos is going to put in the chat, or you can go to mapscoaching.com. The course starts April 15th. Hey, leaders, building up leaders. What a concept. That's what we're going to be doing. Carlos, any questions? We can take one or two real quick.
We have no questions.
Perfect. All right. That means everybody's signing up. I love it. Hey, thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you guys all on April 15th.
Bye.